Hi, everybody, once again. Welcome to Ding Podcast. This is the first time we're having a Ding Podcast in English because I have a special guest today to open up this entire year of podcasts. Today with me is Jan de Jong. I think most of the business people in Croatia know who you are, but I would like to present your persona to the younger generation, to show them what you're working on, to show your background, to show how you can manage to do everything you set your mind to, and just to showcase a little bit about yourself, everything that you had, the business venture, the possible business angel ventures and stuff like that. I will not do any more introduction. You will do it for yourself, but I have to also thank Zicer for letting us film this podcast here. So thank you guys, the best regional startup hub in Croatia and in the region. Thank you for letting us do this and to showcase all the startup community can do for entire Croatia. And thank you once again. So let's kick off. Jan, tell me something about yourself.
Thank you so much, first of all, for having me, Tomislav, and also Zicer, thank you so much for having me here.
Thank you.
Jan de Jong, born and raised in the Netherlands. I moved to Croatia when I was 22 years old, which was back in 2006. That means that I've been living here in this beautiful country already for past 17 years. I started my first business in Croatia. After that, I started some other businesses too, but in the end, I fell madly in love with my girlfriend, nowadays my wife. And aside from all the business opportunities here in Croatia, she is the main reason why I decided to stay in Croatia. Today we have 4 amazing, beautiful kids together, son of 10 years old, and then 3 girls of 9, 6, and 4. And I enjoy living the Croatian dream here in Croatia, as I call it. Croatia has been treating me very good so far.
Yeah, excellent. Let's go back in your younger days. I would like to first know about your educational background. Where did you go to college? What triggered you?
Did I go to college?
Did you?
Maybe. Yes, I did.
You did?
Yes.
I think I read it somewhere, so I was presuming really fast. I guess it was in the Netherlands,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me about this period and where did you do your first job or practice or internship, whatever it was. And as you mentioned, 22 years old when you came to Croatia. Yeah. It's a very young age to come. So tell me about it.
Sure. So I studied marketing at the University of Leiden. Okay, maybe unlike here in Croatia, I mean, you actually know that more, of course, because of Ding.jobs. But in the Netherlands, every single student has a part-time job.
Okay.
Every single one of them. And kind of if you don't have a job as a student, you're being considered lazy or not participating in let's say, the business world. It's also expected from everybody to earn your own money so that you can spend your own money rather than to just depend on your parents. So actually the student job that I was doing while I was studying marketing at the university was I was working in a contact center.
Okay.
And first I started as a call agent when I was 17 years old. Then I became a supervisor a few years later. And by the time that I was 20 years old, I was operationally in charge of managing a contact center, which had about 200 employees at that moment. And I was able to do this after university and in the evening hours and also on Saturdays. So it pretty much was like a full-time job to me, aside from studying. And when I turned almost 22 years old, I had to write my diplomski rad, my final thesis. At university, we had to do that. So I went to the owner of M+ Group. That was the company where I worked, that contact center. And I asked Mato Božić, who was the founder and owner of M+ Group. And obviously you can hear he has a Croatian name. I asked Mato whether he would like the idea if I would write my final thesis from Croatia, where the subject of my diplomski rad was to expand M+ Group to Croatia. So to open up a call center in Croatia. And because of Mato's Croatian roots, he very much liked the idea. So on actually September of 2006, I collected all my belongings. I put it in my old Honda and I drove from the Netherlands to Split. Mato already had one business in Split. So there were a couple of colleagues. They were able to receive me, to welcome me. They gave me a mobile phone and a desk, and they helped me to find an apartment. And after that, not knowing anybody or anything here in this country, I simply started investigating the market. Who would be potentially our clients that we could start providing call center services to? And long story short, after about 1 year being in Croatia, we had our first 2 clients. One of them was Metronet Telecomunicatie, which is nowadays owned by A1 Telecom. And the second one was BNet, which is nowadays also owned by A1 Telecom. And for them, what we were doing is we were doing telemarketing and telesales. So we were selling their services over the phone. And after me being in Croatia for about 1 year, we had about 35 employees in Split. Then I went back to the Netherlands to graduate. So I defended my thesis. And after I defended my thesis successfully, I had another lunch with Mato. And Mato said, you know what, if you return to Croatia to finish what you started, then let's be business partners. Let's do it 50-50. So that was a very good deal to me. In the meantime, I already, like I said, I fell in love with my girlfriend. So I really wanted to go back to Croatia. And I saw a great opportunity to continue what we started and to build a very big business. And yeah, that's how I came back to Croatia, being a co-founder and owner of one of the first contact center service providers in Croatia. Fast forward 9 years later, so that was in 2015, I made my exit from that company. At that time, we employed a bit more than 400 people. And the new owners actually of M Plus Group, they have turned it into a behemoth. After many mergers and acquisitions that have followed after that. Currently, M Plus Group is one of the largest employers in the region, employing more than 14,000 people and having a listing on the Zagreb Stock Exchange. So that was how my entrepreneurial journey basically started in Croatia.
Yeah, that's a crazy story.
Yeah.
Tell me about the biggest challenges you faced, because you came here very young. Of course, you had, how do I say, a drive, so some kind of internal drive to do something with your life, to become someone. And I can sense in you that adventurous type of person.
You have to be.
Yeah.
You have to be adventurous. Yes.
And what were the biggest challenges here in Croatia? Because the cultures are, like hugely different, I think.
Well, yes and no.
Yeah?
So I mean, for example, I was born and raised in a Catholic family. So Croatia being pretty much all Catholic, that's all similarities that I can see. But there are definitely cultural differences. One of them, for example, being that me growing up in the Netherlands and also in the family where I grew up, for us it was always very important to be very punctual and to show up on time. You're not supposed to show up late, and that was one of the things that I noticed in Croatia is that perhaps especially because I was settling down in Dalmatia, that showing up late is part of the culture almost. And doing business for me, being very straightforward, being very direct in my way of asking questions and the way that I sent my proposals, and preferably having meetings in an office directly with somebody, not in a coffee bar. For me, this was all very new. When I was 22, 23 years old, the biggest deal that I signed was in a coffee bar, and that was all very strange to me. But I think that I was very fortunate that I came to Croatia at a very young age, because I was still very adaptable. I was still able to change myself to the local habits, perhaps to take some of the things that were important for me in terms of cultural things from the Netherlands with me to Croatia, to stay true to who I am. but at the same time still being able to accept that people here are sometimes different and behave differently, and that I'm able to adjust myself to that. Yeah.
Do you think that you maybe took some, how do I say, not good characteristics from the local community that is considered normal? Do you think that, are you late sometimes now?
No, I'm still very punctual.
Do you swear maybe a little bit more?
Well, in the car, I noticed that I swear from time to time, and I do it in Croatian language, I noticed, yes.
Are you polluted by the fanaticism of a city of Split by Hajduk?
Yes, as well, because my boy is 10 years old. He obviously loves Hajduk because everybody in the class and then the football club loves Hajduk. So yeah, we go to games from time to time, and especially this year, it's very exciting, of course, with Hajduk performing very well, and maybe with a little bit of luck. After 17 years, we'll have a big party in, or 19 years it actually 19 years. Yeah. We'll have a big party in Split. Yeah.
You know your numbers. Yes. They taught you well. That you're really localized.
You cannot avoid it. You cannot avoid it.
Excellent. So tell me, how did this transition after you exited this M Plus company? What did you do with your life then? Did you have, in the meantime, did you already have something that you think you would do, or did you take a pause, a break? How did this process?
I changed everything.
Okay.
Yes. Because, I mean, first of all, so I was working in the call center business from the age of 17.
Okay.
When I sold my first business, I was 31. So I'd been in this business for 14 years. And actually for the longest time, I personally believed that this was all I knew. That outside of the contact center business or business process outsourcing industry, that I always believed that I had very limited knowledge and that I didn't know what else I could do after this. So when I sold my business, at first it was a very perhaps scary moment, not knowing what I was going to do next. At that moment, now looking at it backwards, I can also say that I was very overworked, very stressed, and perhaps dealing with symptoms of having a burnout. So I definitely needed some rest after I made my exit. I took some rest for like maybe 2-3 months.
Okay.
And after that, I started my new business. But before I sold my business, I was working standard 70, 80 hours a week. I was 5 days a week in Zagreb while my family was in Split. I would come home over the weekend to be with my family, but at that same time, because I was working so hard, it was very hard to switch off. So I also felt that I couldn't be the father that I wanted to be. I couldn't be the husband that I wanted to be. And I was really quite disgusted with who I was at that very moment emotionally. And that's why I decided that after I sold my business that I wanted to change everything. So the first thing that we did is we built a beautiful house. We bought a beautiful piece of land near Split, and then we built a beautiful house. And I decided that I really wanted to spend more time at home with a bigger focus on family life. Especially nowadays with 4 kids, you know, this is not something that you should take for granted. And I think that any opportunity that I have to spend time with them and to have quality time with my family, I should take it. Because in the end, that's far more important than the business. So I also organize my business differently. The first thing that I do nowadays when starting a business, as soon as I can, I try to replace myself. So I don't want to be responsible for the day-to-day operations in my own business. I'm totally okay that when I start a business, that during the first perhaps few years, that I work hard for the business. But after a couple of years, I believe that the business should be working very hard for me. And that's how I have organized myself. It allows me to be very flexible. It allows me to start more than one business. And to simply engage very, very smart and good professionals in running my day-to-day business. It also enabled me actually to grow exponentially. And for me as an owner, not to be the bottleneck of growth of your own business, basically. So, yeah, like I said, I've changed everything nowadays, especially after COVID-19. We have all learned that we can also have meetings simply through having video calls. So I work a lot from home. I can pretty much work from anywhere, but I choose to work from home. That means that I can bring my kids to school and kindergarten, that I can enjoy having 3 meals a day with my family, and still be super efficient working from home, having video calls. Before I would drive at least 50,000 kilometers a year. Nowadays, I maybe do 25,000 kilometers a year. So I'm saving myself a lot of time in the car. I'm saving myself a lot of money, not having to travel so much anymore. So yeah, completely different setup from before. Yeah.
I understand, but it seems like you passed the game. You know, you're like on completely another level. And I have to ask you: do you think that it is inevitable for young entrepreneurs to go through that hard process that you described? You know, overworked, completely in all the operative stuff, not getting enough sleep, not getting enough time with family. Do you think that everybody has to go through it because you learned from it, and you know you learned what you don't want to have in your other business ventures?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I think that all of these things are personal choices.
Yeah.
And these are your preferences. Don't get me wrong. When I was working 70, 80 hours a week, back then, I loved doing it. And I could, because for the longest time I was without kids. I was very young when I started. When I was 22, all the way up till like when I was 29 years old. The only person I had to take care of was myself and my girlfriend/wife at that time. So I was in a position to be, in that regards, very selfish, where I could just do what I wanted to do. And at that very moment, what I wanted to do is I wanted to become the best and the biggest in what I did. And I was perfectly fine and happy to work 60, 70, 80 hours a week. It didn't feel like a sacrifice at that moment. But as I grew older and as I became also a father and my priorities started to change, that's also when I made different decisions for myself that nowadays I cannot imagine working 80 hours a week. I would feel horrible having to do that. Not just because for my own personal reasons that I would be away from my family, but I also think that this is not something that I would want to do to my family. I mean, in that case, maybe I should have made different decisions and not have 4 kids.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I completely agree. And from the perspective you just described, it really doesn't feel like, for most of the guys in this community, in startup community that we talk with on a daily basis, they don't feel like they are, torturing themselves, working like 2 weeks in 1 week period or stuff like that. It's enjoyable, and it should be enjoyable. But as you mentioned, when the priorities shift, you're doing damage to the other side if you're still pursuing that same story. I completely agree. What was you are considered to be a pioneer of digital nomads here in Croatia. Can you tell me the biggest benefits of digital nomadship? How would I call it? COVID shifted everything. We are now talking about completely going remote, not needing an office setup and stuff like that. This is only one fragment of benefits and stuff like that. But tell me more about it. How can companies benefit from that? How can they still be efficient and effective? And bust that myth that everything should still be in the office.
So just to go back, I mean, when you were mentioning that I'm considered a pioneer related to digital nomadism in Croatia, that very often is related to the fact that I was the initiator of legislative changes in Croatia, where one day I actually wrote an open letter to Andrej Plenković, our prime minister, in which I asked him if he would be so kind to introduce a digital nomad visa. And 44 days after my open letter to him, I had a meeting with him in his office, and he supported me in bringing those legislative changes. And together with all the ministries, but led by MUP, by Ministry of Interior, in a period of like 5 or 6 months, we have changed 2 laws and 2 regulations, and that resulted in Croatia becoming the 2nd country in Europe and the 7th country in the world to welcome digital nomads by granting them a staying permit. So, and after that, I also started, co-founded the Udruga Digitalni Nomadi Hrvatska, so the Digital Nomad Association Croatia. And I'm currently still president of that association. And this, to answer your question, what are the benefits of digital nomadism to Croatia? Let me put it that way, because I initiated all of this because I wanted to bring positive change to Croatia in 2 ways. First of all, when I moved to Croatia in 2006, the population here was about 4.5 million people. Today, we're talking about having a population of 3.88 million. So we have seen more than 500,000, close to 700,000 people have actually left Croatia in order to pursue their happiness and their business opportunities abroad. Now, these are mostly young and talented people that have left Croatia. Not so many retired people are leaving Croatia. And they obviously went to countries like Ireland and the Netherlands and Germany and the United States to find better economic opportunities. By welcoming digital nomads, what you're actually doing is you are reversing the so-called brain drain. So Croatia has a brain drain of young and smart people leaving the country. By welcoming digital nomads, you're actually welcoming young and smart people. And the great thing is also that there's a lot of economic benefits to that because they're bringing their salaries with them. And they have, in general, they're well-paid individuals. Digital nomads, I mean, of course, the numbers keep on changing, but on average, they make far more than what an average person in Croatia makes. So they're actually very good residents to have here, temporary residents. And of course, like you know, Croatia depends for more than 20% of its GDP on tourism, but it's all within the season, the summer season. And digital nomads, they actually come to Croatia not just for a couple of weeks, but they stay here for several months and also outside of the season. So it's actually a year-round, long-term tourism, if you may say it that way, of bringing young, smart, and well-paid individuals to Croatia. On top of that, I also think that these digital nomads can be an inspiration to the youngest generation in Croatia, who can learn from digital nomads that you don't necessarily need to leave your home country to find business opportunities, but that you can actually do fantastic remote jobs from the comfort of your home, wherever your home is. If that is in Croatia, then you can do it from Croatia, where you can be working for German, Dutch, Silicon Valley-based companies, but from Zagreb or from Slavonski Brod or wherever you're from. And in that way, you don't have to make a perhaps a personal sacrifice of leaving the comfort of your home and to, even though I did it myself as well. I mean, I was also 22 when I moved to Croatia. The biggest difference though is I never left the Netherlands because there was a lack of opportunity. You know, I left the Netherlands because I wanted to, and I didn't come to Croatia because I thought that there was so much more opportunity here than I could find in the Netherlands. But what you also see over time is that, well, we've seen a lot of people leave Croatia for economic reasons. What you now see is that a lot of people that are coming from countries like the United States or like Germany or the Netherlands, they are leaving their countries not for economic reasons, but for lifestyle reasons.
Yeah.
And that at the same time is becoming a very big opportunity for Croatia, but actually for the whole Mediterranean region, because we have a phenomenal lifestyle here. Yeah, great opportunity for Croatia.
Yeah, the lifestyle is really unique here. I was actually talking with a client last week, and he does a business in Austria, in Vienna, oftenly. He says, it's so strange when you come to, I don't know, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday, 11 o'clock, walk down the square in Vienna, you will see no one.
Yeah.
Here in Zagreb or Split on
on
anywhere,
Riva.
you'll see full coffee.
Everybody is there. Yeah.
Drinking coffee, or maybe we should say they're doing businesses.
Yeah, but like I said, my biggest deal was made in a coffee bar, so why not on Riva? Yeah.
Do you have any insights about the people that come from US, Great Britain, Netherlands? How do they integrate that lifestyle? Is it easy for them? Is it strange for them in the beginning? I think everybody would like to have a lifestyle like that, because I hear a lot of people go out, let's say in Ireland, you said, in Germany, make a lot of money, come here and say, I should have never left Croatia. Here is really good.
Yeah.
But
no, I think that for many people, it's very easy to get used to the way of living here. A lot of people are obviously leaving those economically strong countries because they're looking for perhaps a lifestyle in more slow motion.
Yeah.
Not so hectic, not so crazy, busy, and just focused on work. I mean, in countries like the US and other Western European countries, a lot of people they live to work, and here in Croatia we work to live, and that's the biggest difference. It's something that you can obviously very easily get used to. I've spoken with many digital nomads, especially when they're coming from the United States. They simply love it here, and many of them, they wish they never had to leave Croatia after that. Yeah.
Great insights. Tell me about Web Power, Adria. This was your third venture? Second venture. We're actually, we want to go with you, and I think we will. It is very interesting story that you've built.
Yeah.
And can you tell me more about it? How did you, find an inspiration to do that from your previous business? And from what I've seen, it only keeps on growing.
Yes, we're growing very fast. But before I go into that part, so yeah, like I said, when I sold M Plus Group in December of 2015. Then early 2016, at that very moment, after taking some time off, I wanted to start something else again, but I didn't know quite yet what I wanted to do. And then actually, what I did before, so with the call center, if you look at how that has been developed in the Netherlands, this was already a very big and highly saturated market in the Netherlands.
Okay.
And in Croatia, this was, when I started it was almost not done at all. So I again wanted to do something connected with marketing, something that was already done in the Netherlands at a very high level and almost not being done locally in Croatia. Or if it was being done locally in Croatia, I wanted to see if I could maybe do it on a higher level. And at that moment, I was actually also a co-owner and co-founder of a digital marketing agency. And we had a few clients that were sending newsletters. But most of those companies, they were always using services like MailChimp. So anybody in Croatia, whenever they want to send out newsletters, for most of the companies, they just open up a MailChimp account. And in the Netherlands, MailChimp is considered to be not perhaps the most proper tool to do email marketing. And there's a lot of very good, strong local players in the Netherlands that offer much better alternatives to MailChimp. And that's when I decided that I wanted to start an email marketing company. So I wanted to basically become the local alternative to MailChimp. And yeah, fast forward, now we are in our 8th year. that we're doing this, and we are serving nearly 200 companies across the region. Mostly very recognizable companies, very big companies, companies where you buy your daily groceries, the telcos, the insurance companies, credit card processors, web shops. We are supporting them with email marketing and marketing automation. And this company is still growing with more than 50% year on year. We have, at this moment, we have 17 employees. And we are a fully remote company. So we have employees all over the country. We are no longer limited to only be hiring people from Zagreb because we have an office there, or we had an office there. We have people based in Osijek, Varaždin, Gospić, Zadar, Šibenik, Split, Pazin, Pula, so literally all over the country. And we have also been one of the first countries actually in the region to introduce a 4-day work week for a full-time salary. So our team works 4 days a week for a full-time salary from home.
Tell me about that, because I think you mentioned you were mentioning it on LinkedIn like last year a couple of times that you will do it. You're considering of doing it. The benefits of 4-day work and stuff like that. Now, at the beginning of 2024, I was reading a lot of posts that it is a complete BS. That not from you, but you know, there are always haters and trolls that are going to try to shit on your idea. And what do you think about what's so special about 4-day week, except from the obvious?
Yeah. So first of all, we introduced it in September of 2021. So we're doing this for 2.5 years now.
2.5 years. Okay.
It was not my idea. I was inspired by actually an experiment that they did in Iceland, where they tested the 4-day work week in the public sector. And their results were that people were happier, less stressed, and more productive. And that is something that I wanted to have in my company as well. So when we introduced it, first of all, employees, they were extremely happy, you know, to be told that for the same money, you're just going to have to work 1 day less, 32 hours. So we are not working 10 hours a day. We are working the regular 8 hours a day, but 4 days a week. That's fantastic news for anybody. And the way that we do it, because we still need to be available to our clients 5 days a week, of course. So initially I told the entire team that I wanted them to come up with an idea, a suggestion towards me, how they would organize themselves to work 4 days a week, but where the client can always reach us.
It's 5 days.
Yes.
Okay.
So they came back with a suggestion that they would divide the team in 3 groups.
Okay.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And let's say that in one calendar month, you are free always on a Monday.
Okay.
So you are free on Monday, I'm free on Wednesday, and another colleague is free on Friday in January.
Okay.
And then comes February, we are rotating. So then you become part of the Wednesday group, I become part of the Friday group, and the colleague that was in the Friday group becomes part of the Monday group. And in that way, we are all the time rotating. That means that 2 out of 3 months, you have a long weekend. You're either free on a Monday or on a Friday. And 1 month out of 3 months, you are free on a Wednesday, which is also very nice. Awesome. You work 2 days, 1 day off. You work 2 days, 2 days off. It's a very nice rhythm as well. And in that way, we are always available to our clients. So we are not all free on a Friday. And what we also do is we make sure that people that have the same skill sets are not in the same group. So for instance, if you are a designer, you cannot be in the Friday group together with another designer. So they need to be in different groups. The benefits that we have seen are tremendous. And I can honestly say that this is probably one of the best decisions that we have ever made at WebPower. So people are happier. They do feel less stressed. They're also more productive. They feel that they are busier during the days that they are working, simply because you don't have time to be scrolling through your Facebook or other social media.
Videos and stuff like
cat
that.
videos, no news portals. Just when you're working very hard. And as a reward, we all get to have an extra day off in the week. And people are totally fine with that, and they enjoy it very, very much. People tell me that this extra day off, that they use it for example, doing a lot of activities that they would usually do in the weekend. So a lot of family chores or things that you would usually postpone for the weekend, they do it on that extra day off. So you actually have a very relaxing weekend where you don't have to do all these other things that you would usually plan in your free time. Some people, they decide to educate themselves, to learn new skills during that day off. Some people, they pursue hobbies during that day off. But anyway, it's a day really for themselves. What we have also seen is a decrease in sick leave of 50%.
Really?
Huge, yes. And what we've also seen is that our team is no longer very vulnerable to being headhunted. So in the past, many of my colleagues, they would be headhunted by companies that are simply financially much stronger than we are. Think about companies like Pliva. I mean, Pliva has more money than I have, let's face it. And if they would want to offer more salary than I can, they will, you know. So I wanted to offer something that those companies wouldn't offer. And that is not necessarily more money, but that is more free time. Yeah. So whenever somebody is being approached from my team with perhaps an attractive salary increase, they need to make a decision, which is a lifestyle decision. Yeah. Do I want to work 4 days a week for a full-time salary from home for WebPower? Or do I, for a little more money, want to work 5 days a week again from the office? And this is a very tough decision to make, obviously. Yeah. And that has also resulted that since we have introduced the 4-day work week 2.5 years ago, we have had so far only one colleague resign, which was simply a young woman. WebPower was her first employer. And after being with us for 3 years, she wanted to do and see something else. Which is totally fine. I mean, I would have probably made the same decision in her situation. So yeah, we are very happy that we can keep our talent with us. And not only that, but by creating the working conditions that we have created, we are also able to attract really great new people. So whenever we have a job ad, we'll make a post on LinkedIn and we'll create a job ad on LinkedIn. And I get, like, within 24 hours, I get more than 100 applications for those jobs. And not just 100 bad CVs, but like really great candidates that make it very difficult for us to choose who do we want to onboard. It happens even that, you know, we have one open position and we have so many great candidates that we end up hiring 2 people simply because we are anyway growing with 50% and we have such great candidates that we don't want to let the great candidate go, so to say. So, and hiring the best of the best people with the best attitude, it makes us as a company very strong. And last but definitely not least, what we have also seen is that as a result of everything that we have created for our team within WebPower, our clients have never been happier than they are today. Our, for example, net promoter score, I don't know if you're familiar with Net Promoter Score. I'm
tracking it for my company as
well. We are at this moment at 58%, which is like through the roof. It's incredibly high. And if you compare that with WebPower, which is also being sold in the Netherlands and in Sweden and the United Kingdom and in Spain, same product. The only thing that is different is that they are all working from the office and we are all working from home. They're working 5 days a week. We are working 4 days a week. And we have structured our account management perhaps a little differently from what they have. But our Net Promoter Score is off the chart high, much higher than the other countries. So I think that we can conclude that we made the right decision by actually working less hours.
That's crazy. And you were actually telling David an anecdote about this 4-day work week. And what was it? Goddamn, another
So the management of WebPower in the Netherlands, when I announced that WebPower Adria was going to introduce the 4-day work week, they thought that I announced it for Web Power in the Netherlands. So they were a little shocked at first. They couldn't figure out who approved that, but it was for my own company in Croatia.
Yeah. Oh, and all hell broke loose.
Yeah, very shortly though, but yeah.
Excellent. It's amazing that actually with less hours you put in the work you put in, and completely remote, that you get much better results.
Yeah.
It's actually, you know, if somebody was telling me like on the street that I don't know, that I didn't see the results, I would say, hey, you're full of shit.
Yeah.
No.
But do you, for example, know who introduced the 5-day work week?
No.
Henry Ford.
Oh,
Yeah, because back in 1926, so almost 100 years ago, the standard was to work 6 days a week.
6 days a week.
Yeah. And then Henry Ford, he introduced the 5-day work week. And at that moment, all the other industrial leaders, they were questioning Henry Ford, like, how is it possible? How can we do the amount of work that used to be done in 6 days? How can we do it in 5 days? But Henry Ford did it anyway. And as a result, he attracted the greatest talent from the automobile industry to work for him, because he had so much better working environment.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, he started massively outgrowing his competition. And the reasons why Henry Ford also decided to introduce the 5-day work week was because he believed that if he wanted to sell more cars, he needed to have more consumers that have more money and more free time. If people don't have money, and if they don't have free time, what do you need a car for? So this is why he did it. And now for most people, the standard is working 5 days a week. But if you look at the let's say the technological advances that we have seen over the past 100 years, for reference, 100 years ago was in that year, we invented the television.
Yeah.
Now look at where we are now in terms of technology.
Yeah.
That means that we have become so much more productive as a result of the technology that we are using. So why not to return part of those efficiency gains to the employees by working 4 days instead of 5 days?
Yeah, you got a point. And about the remote part, that a lot of people are skeptical about, because it's not efficient. People are lazy, they're slackers, you know, the things I hear. We on Ding have a possibility to track, you know, the applicants on these jobs. And last year, it was amazing data for me. Not surprising, but it was something that I expected, but not in that huge delta. That if you were to post a job ad that has either fully remote or hybrid option, maybe just 1-2 days a week that you can work from home, you would get more than 100% more applicants on your job offer.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised with that, because it just shows what employees in 2024 are looking for.
Yeah. It's actually, Forbes was published an article that as 3 years in last 3 years, and even in 2024, with more emphasis, the remote and hybrid work is one of the main trends to follow in the HR department. And I have to ask you, what do you think? Are all jobs possible to, you know, make remote, or they're okay? Well,
obviously
we know
not.
obviously not, but try to think all the jobs that do not require a man near a machine or something like that. Do you think that most of them, let's paraphrase, most of the jobs are can be remote and can be done efficiently remote?
Well, fun fact, they're even doing tests right now with truck drivers to be working remote. So a truck driver can be sitting at home behind the steering wheel with monitors in front of him or her, and is in that way driving the truck remotely.
From home.
From home. So there are even tests being done in that regards. So and these would usually be the people that are away from home all the time, right?
Yeah, of course, because they're
yeah.
on the field and...
Yeah, exactly.
I saw that scene
So-
in Black Panther, actually. If you watch the movie...
I haven't,
you
no.
didn't? Okay.
No, sorry.
No problem.
But anyway, I mean, I think that a lot of office jobs can be done remotely. I think that it just very much depends on the management of the company, whether those companies are going into that direction or not. You know, I am just not the kind of person that likes to micromanage people. I don't look at how they're doing their work. I mostly focus on, have they done their work? And as long as the output from me is okay and meets the requirements, the standards, then who am I to question how that is being done exactly? If my clients are happy,
Yeah, of course.
then that's for me all that matters. And I simply give my team members a lot of freedom to organize themselves in the way that suits them the most. Of course, we have working hours. We have a lot of interaction with clients, so we need to be available during office hours. But I personally don't care whether you do it from your bedroom in Osijek or from your cabin in the Adriatic Sea.
Yeah.
As long as you're available to our clients and as long as you're able to do your job, then I don't really care from where you do it.
Excellent. I also wanted to ask you, do you think that, how do I say, negative effect of remote work is the lack of physical contact, the lack of in-person communication, the socializing aspect of the stuff? Do you think that it will have impact? Does it already have impact? And just expand on that a little.
Well, speaking of that, the socializing at work, speaking about lowering someone's productivity, that's one of the reasons why people in the office are sometimes less productive than people that are working from home. I've read research that said that people that are working from the office, they spend about 45% of their time socializing, drinking coffee, and actually non-work related activities. So that's a lot of time that goes out of the window. And people that are working from home, that are just focused on their tasks, are not wasting that part of time. But, you know, at Web Power Adria, what we do instead is, first of all, we are saving ourselves quite a bit of money of not having an office. And we reinvest part of that money into doing phenomenal team buildings. And not team buildings where I put everybody in a room and then I'm going to do presentations and whatnot, because those kind of presentations we can do virtually as well. But to just really spend great quality time together, bonding and being human beings first, rather than just being colleagues towards one another. And last year in October, we went, for example, with the entire team, we went to beautiful Rovin. We were staying in an amazing hotel. We rented a sailing boat. We did all kinds of fun activities in Istria, wine tasting, olive oil tasting. So yeah, this is also a way of socializing with your team. And then instead of paying rent, I rather spend money on these kind of things.
Excellent, excellent. You mentioned that when you post a job ad, you have like more than 100 applicants within 24 hours.
Yeah.
What I'm really interested in is try to remember the last time you were in search of a, let's say, younger person. Did you notice any, I don't know, differences in communication, in how that person approaches some particular tasks? You know, in general, what do you feel about, let's label them Gen Z? Yeah, I'm interested in that field particularly because most of them are searching jobs on our platform.
Well, there's a lot of stereotypes, of course, about the Gen Z, about having a need for instant gratification, not being loyal.
Lack of focus.
Yeah. I can't say that I agree with that. In general, not with such stereotypes.
Yeah.
When we post a job ad, we mostly get applications from Gen Z.
Okay.
Just for reference, in our company, the average age is around 29 years old.
Nice.
And whenever we hire people, they are usually younger than 29. So they're 24, 25, 26, around that age. Very often just out of college or still studying, can also be. But because we are getting, I mean, we've created a situation where we became such a desired workplace for people to work. I think that when people apply for this job, they really do show themselves from their very best side. We get, like I said, phenomenal applications. And then when we really hire somebody, that person doesn't want to leave anymore. Or not, yeah. So they will keep on showing up and they will keep on doing their very best to prove to themselves, but also towards us, that we made the right decision by onboarding them. And because let's face it, if we hire somebody and we, for example, make a mistake, we hired the wrong person, it's for us relatively easy to replace that person. Because if we give somebody a 3-month trial period and that person just doesn't meet the expectations during the first 3 months, then it takes me only one more LinkedIn post to get another 100 candidates from which we can then hire somebody. So far we've been doing actually really very well. We have hired, we've made the right choices when it comes to hiring, and maybe a little lucky as well. But yeah, I'm very satisfied with our recruitment process, and then in the end, the final decision that we make when selecting a final candidate. Yeah.
Excellent. Can you guide me through the onboarding and the interview? These are the stuff, you know, that our audience likes to know about. You said you rarely go aiming particularly at students and juniors, but you never know, and it's good to have information out there. If you are in need of a junior and you find one, how would this process look like for him?
Yeah, so with our core business being email marketing and marketing automation, this is let's say an industry or a sector where it's very hard for me to find people with experience in that particular field. So it's completely pointless for us to be having job ads where we are looking for somebody that has 3 years of email marketing experience, because those individuals are just very hard to find. So what we do, rather than hiring people with experience or looking for people with experience, we are simply hiring for people with the right attitude. And that right attitude is mostly demonstrated in the fact that they are very eager and very hungry to learn. And the ability to learn is mostly found among younger people, because they are still in that mode of wanting to learn and an ability to learn. Just like it's easier to learn a language when you are a baby or a young child than when you are a full-grown person. The same goes with hiring young staff. If I show them around in the Web Power solution, the software, and teach them how to work with it, they will understand it like this. And if I would be, I mean, no disrespect, of course, but if I would be doing the same thing towards a 50-year-old man or woman, it would be much harder for that person to learn what we do. So when we receive all the applications, you need to, by the way, know that I'm not involved at all in the hiring process myself. So I have a colleague, or actually 2 colleagues, that do the initial screening of the candidates. And most of the people that after they're being screened, they're being asked to do an online test, where we also do test their knowledge about the marketing world, let's say, that we live in, and email marketing is definitely a subject that we question people about. But still, this doesn't mean that if you don't know how to send a newsletter that you would be disregarded as a potential candidate. What we try to find is Did you do research? Did you make an effort to come up with answers, as a matter of saying?
It's all about the attitude. As
Yes,
you said.
exactly.
Yeah.
Then after that, they have video calls with the candidates. And there we try to find out whether there's a great connection with somebody. Because we are working, once again, we are working in a very small team. It's 17 of us. So even people with great attitude, if you are simply a person that nobody likes, it's not pleasant to work in such a small company.
Of course.
So we like to work with people that we enjoy working with people that are simply nice to have around you. And then, last but not least, we also do a personality test with people. Now, of course, I know that those personality tests are not 100% bulletproof, but it does tell a thing or two about somebody's personality. And then what we look for is we look for having that well balanced within the team, let's say. And then final phase is usually where I come in. So then we have the top 3 candidates, for instance. I meet together with my colleague the top 3 candidates, and I just have a very nice and casual conversation with that person, where of course I try to get to know that person a little better, even though it's very hard to do something like that in a half an hour or 1 hour meeting. But I just have a casual cup of coffee with that person that can either be like this or virtual. It's also okay. And after that, of course, for myself, I make a decision. Who do I think would be the best candidate? But the decision and the final decision is with my colleagues. So not my decision, because they're going to be the ones that have to work with this colleague, not necessarily me. Of course, I will be with that colleague too, but my direct colleagues will be working with the new colleagues. So for me, it's most important that it's their decision. Who do we bring on board? And that also means that by me giving them the full authority for making that decision, they will also have to live with that decision. So that means that they will be putting in the extra effort to develop a great relationship with the person that they chose to work with. It's completely different if I tell you, Tomislav, here is your new colleague, good luck working together. And you maybe think that I made a wrong decision hiring Hrvoje. So, but if you say, Jan, we need to hire Hrvoje, and I say, okay, Tomislav, go ahead, work with Hrvoje, then it's your choice, and you will make the extra effort. So that's how we do it.
Excellent. And in your estimation, how much of these decisions in the end are different? You think you should hire? They should hire Ante. They go with Hrvoje. In what many cases is that different?
Very often we have the same opinion. But then still, even if it's the same opinion, I let them make the decision.
Okay.
I don't even really say out loud who would be my preferred choice until I hear it from them. And if they tell me who they prefer, I say, okay, then let's go with that person.
Excellent. Excellent. Since we are on at the end of our podcast, I'm going on some soft topics. 5 things you like most about Croatia.
Okay. I very much enjoy the fact that this is a very safe country. So as a father of 4 kids, 3 girls, for me it's important that kids will be able to walk over the street in the evening without having to be afraid that something would happen. Since I moved to Croatia, I've never felt afraid. There's very little crime here, and I think it's a wonderful country to raise a family. Then definitely climate. Growing up in the rain of the Netherlands, it made me very much enjoy actually the climate that we have in Dalmatia. Back in the Netherlands, I was never bothered with rain. But nowadays, when I move back to the Netherlands, for example, for holidays, I just notice how much it bothers me today, bad weather. So I very much enjoy great weather. I think that the food and the wine in Croatia is phenomenal. I'm a very big wine lover, especially of the white wine. So the Malvasias, the Poschips here, very much enjoy that. So to enjoy fantastic food, great meat, and wonderful wines in Croatia. That's definitely high up on the list. Nature. So in a country where, like the Netherlands, where everything is flat, to me every little hill is a mountain, and I love the nature here. Also the sea, the coastline, the islands. I think it's one of the most beautiful countries in Europe, definitely. And what would be the fifth reason?
The lifestyle.
Well, yeah, the lifestyle, of course, definitely, which is formed because of everything else. But what I do enjoy here, actually, and a lot of people are not even aware of it, but the level of English that everybody speaks here. That's maybe also one of the reasons why I'm still not so fluent in Croatian, even though we speak Croatian at home. My wife speaks Croatian to the kids. I speak Dutch to the kids. So the kids are already far smarter than their father, because they speak 3 languages by now. Yes. Wow. Yeah. But one of the reasons why I never got to learn to speak fluent Croatian is because everybody's English is just at such a high level here. And that's something that you will actually come to realize once you start traveling more and more abroad, where you realize that in many countries it's just not like that. Yeah.
Excellent. Also, I wanted to ask you about my thought just went. I have to recall it. Just a second. It was something about the country, but it doesn't matter. I forgot it. I hate when that happens. The one thing that I remembered, and I have to put an emphasis on it, I didn't mention it before, is that it's super that you're genuine to the thing that you came here as a, let's say, digital nomad. Not as a digital nomad, but you opened the door for them to come to Croatia. And you explained to me the benefits of that, and you weren't the guy when you opened Web Power here that told your employees come sit in the office and did completely different than, let's say, your mindset.
Well, we started in the office.
Yeah, you did.
We also became a remote company from the moment that we were in lockdown. That was for us also the moment when we turned our homes into our office. Yeah.
But now you actually are doing completely remote, as you said. A lot of things, a lot of those benefits go with costs falling down, people having their flexibility, and this is actually what resonates in my head. The genuine thing about your business is that you believe it and you live it. That's beautiful. The last message you want to leave with the audience, what would it be? Some smart and I don't know. Wise.
I think that very often people think that the grass is greener on the other side of the fence, and that things are better outside of Croatia. Assuming that most of your audience is Croatian, I'm here basically as a living example and as a person sitting here that can tell you from first-hand experience that the grass is not always greener outside of Croatia, and that we in Croatia actually enjoy very green grass. It's sometimes hard to see if you grow up here what are all the benefits of living in Croatia, and that a lot of the great things that we enjoy in Croatia, that we take them for granted. But we live in one of the most beautiful and best countries in the world, if you ask me. Speaking about opportunities, because a lot of people will tell me that there is no opportunities here. I think that in a country where there is a lot of problems, there is also a lot of opportunities. Because in the end, especially for entrepreneurs, we do nothing else all day other than fixing somebody else's problem. That's what you do as an entrepreneur. By either selling your product or to sell your service, you are trying to fix a problem of a consumer or of a client. So the more problems that there are, the more fixing there is needed. And basically what we are still supposed to do is to identify the problem and to connect it and to match it with the right entrepreneur that is gonna come up with a solution for that. So if you are looking for perhaps the right opportunity on what you can be doing here in Croatia and be very successful at with something, is listen very carefully to your surrounding and listen to the problems that people are talking about and try to find solutions for those problems. I think that starting a business is hard in Croatia, but starting a business is hard wherever you do it.
Yeah.
It's also hard in the Netherlands. It's also hard in the United States. It's just hard for different reasons. In Croatia, perhaps it's hard because of the bureaucracy.
Yeah.
In the Netherlands, whatever you start, whatever kind of business you start, it's hard because you have a lot of competition. In Croatia, there's very little competition in many things that you do. I mean, look at your own business.
Yeah.
How much competition do you basically have?
Yeah,
It's not much. If you would be doing what you're doing in a perhaps more developed country in Western Europe or in the United States, you would already face a lot of competition. And not only that, those competitors very often have a lot of money. They have very deep pockets and they're going to make your life very difficult. And in Croatia, with what you do, being a first mover, being the first one to do it the way you do it, you actually have an opportunity to become a market leader.
Yeah.
It's very hard to become a market leader in big markets like Germany or in the Netherlands or in the United States. And I've done it now already for the second time. First with the call center and now with Web Power. We are again among the leaders in our region for doing email marketing. So yeah, I think if you feel very negative while living in Croatia, if you feel that you're overshadowed with thoughts like there's no opportunities here, perhaps you should look at who have you surrounded yourself with.
Yeah.
Because in the end, you are the average of the 5 people that you spend most time with. And for instance, maybe one of the reasons why I'm very optimistic and very positive is because I spent a lot of time with other entrepreneurs. And other entrepreneurs are not sitting next to me complaining about things. They sit next to me talking about the next thing that they are about to do, the next opportunity they see, how their business is developing. Of course, they talk about the struggles that we have in managing our day-to-day businesses, but we talk about it in a way that we can help each other to fix those obstacles so that we can move on to the next level.
Yeah.
But it's all coming from a very positive mindset. So if you feel that you're having a very negative mindset, perhaps start surrounding yourself with more positive people. Yeah.
Great advice. Thank you so much, Jan. It was really a pleasure having you as a guest on my podcast. And hopefully you will return for another
I will.
sequel.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.